Welcome to part 2 in this series on email marketing for musicians. In the first video, I covered the benefits and limitations of the 3 primary areas of online music marketing: streaming, social media, and email. And we covered why email is such an important part of a well-rounded, effective approach to your music marketing. Now, if you haven't already watched that video yet, I highly recommend that you do that first. Just click the icon in the upper right corner of the video to go ahead and check that out. Now, in this video, I'm going to be covering the 1000 true fan principle. I'll be talking about the KFS factor, and I'm going to explain what permission marketing is and how all of those things are going to help you get amazing results from your email marketing. So let's go ahead and get started. What's up guys, Justin here. Welcome to part 2 in this series on email marketing for musicians. Now, if you're like most artists, I would say it's probably pretty safe to assume that you want to get more people listening to your music. That's why you're here watching this video right now, and you're hoping that I'm going to reveal some insights on how you can get more people streaming your music, more people following you on social media, and get more people to join your email list. Well, you're in the right place because I am going to help you with that. Specifically in this series, I'm going to be helping you build your email list of fans. But the first thing that you need to know before you do that is what to do with those subscribers when you get them. So there's no point in building an email list of people interested in your music if you don't know what to do with that list. So in this video, I'm going to cover some of the key concepts that'll help you get the most out of your email marketing so you can turn new listeners into fans and ultimately into super fans that are going to come to all your shows, buy your music and merch, and share your music with their friends. So first I want to cover a concept that you may or may not already be familiar with called the 1000 true fan principle. Now, this is a concept made popular about 15 years or so ago in an article written by Wired magazine founder Kevin Kelly, aptly titled 1000 True Fans. So in a nutshell, the 1000 True Fan principle is simply a concept that helps to illustrate the fact that you can have a successful music career without millions of fans, without millions of downloads or millions of listeners on Spotify. All you need is 1000 true fans. Now, a true fan is somebody that will drive 100 miles to see you perform live. They'll buy any exclusive music or merch that you make available. They'll share your music with their friends, and they'll help you to grow your fan base for you. Now, a true fan is one of those die-hard, raving fans that absolutely loves your music, that really identifies with it, and will help to support you and your music because they love it so much. Now, if you have 1000 true fans that are going to come see you live, buy your music and merch, spend money to help support your music, and you give them the opportunity to spend at least $100 a year with you, whether that's through fan club memberships, merch, live shows, exclusive vinyl recordings, whatever. If you give fans a reason to spend $100 a year with you and you have 1000 true fans that will do that, that's $100,000 per year. So let's do some quick, simple math here. So if you have 1000 true fans that are willing to spend $100 a year with you, if you give them a reason to, if you create the music, if you create merchandise, if you create a fan club or whatever it is, and if you perform live shows, whatever it is, if you give your fans a reason to spend at least $100 a year with you and you have 1000 true fans that are going to do that, that's $100,000 a year. That's a 6-figure a year income from just 1000 fans. And if you're a solo artist, you write all your own music, you produce your music, you don't have a whole lot of people to share it with, maybe you don't have a manager or label you have to share that with, that's a pretty good chunk of change. And the fact of the matter is that might be significantly more than you need to live. If you might be just happy with half that, if $50,000 a year might be a pretty good income for you. In which case, if that's your goal, just to generate $50,000 a year, then you don't even need those fans to spend $100 a year with you. You only need them to spend $50 a year with you. And if you have 1000 fans spending $50 a year with you, that's $50,000. Or just 500 fans spending $100 a year with you, that's $50,000, or 2,000 fans spending $25 a year with you, or whatever it is. The point of the 1000 true fan principle is that earning a full-time income from your music isn't as far off as it might seem, and it doesn't require a big record deal, and you don't have to be a superstar. All you need to do is find and connect with those fans and listeners that really love what you're doing and cater to that audience. And you can build a loyal following of fans that are going to support you and your music. And when you understand how to build your email list of fans and connect and communicate with them the right way, your email list can easily become your most valuable asset for building a fan base of 1000 true fans and earning that $50,000 or $100,000 income or whatever it is that your goal is. So to better understand how to make that happen, I'd like to introduce you to a concept that I call the KFS factor. So KFS stands for Knows, Fan, Superfan. So first, The first step in building your following is getting people to know who you are. Right now, a lot of people probably don't know who you are. In fact, most people probably don't know who you are. So the first step is getting people into this larger bubble of at least knowing who you are. Then, once you get people to know who you are, some of those people will become fans, and then some of those people will become super fans. A super fan is essentially the same thing as a true fan. So I use those words interchangeably, but this is the person I'm talking about when I talk about building your following of 1,000 true fans. It's 1,000 super fans, the same thing. And these are the people that are going to spend the money with you. So if you want to earn a living from your music, especially if you're an independent artist and you don't have a record label and you don't have this huge budget, you really want to focus on building an audience of as many of these super fans as possible, because that's who's going to help support your career and help you produce more music. Get people to know you first, and inevitably some of the people, once they know you, will become fans, and some of those people will become super fans. So when you get more people to know who you are, that inevitably you're going to get more fans, and then you're going to get more super fans. But it's important to understand the distinction that people are going to be at different stages of their journey into becoming super fans of yours. Not everybody's going to start out here. People have to get to know you first. Some of them will become fans in time, and some will become super fans in time. And this is one of the benefits of email marketing, is because we can get people joining your email list at the stage of just getting to know you, and then over time you'll be able to build this bucket of fans and super fans. Now, it's pretty easy to get your fans and your super fans to join your email list, but you're going to be very limited in your ability to grow that email list if you're only targeting your existing fans. So if you really want to build your email list and use email marketing to build a fan base, get more fans and super fans, you're going to have to learn how to get in front of people that haven't heard of you before and share your music with them and get them to join your email list at the early stage of just knowing you. And that's something that we'll get into in more detail later on in this series. I'll show you exactly what to do and how to do that. So if you're finding this stuff helpful already and you want to learn more, be sure that you subscribe to this channel, click that little bell icon so you can be notified as soon as additional videos in the series are released. It's 100% free to do, so make sure that you're subscribed if you aren't already. Now I'm going to give you some tips here in just a moment on how to write good emails, some best practices to use. But one really important thing that I highly recommend that you do, and it can kind of eliminate some of the confusion about how to write your emails. When you write your emails, write for these people, write for your super fans. Act as if every single person on your email list is a super fan. And the reason why you want to do that is because if you're talking to this person like, hey, I know you just signed up to my email list, and there's a time and a place for that. We'll talk later on about writing a welcome series so that you can welcome people that have just signed up to your email list, and they'll receive those emails automatically as soon as they sign up to your email list. But as for your general tone and the way that you write and the way that you communicate with your email list, remember, write for these people. These are the people that you want on your list. And what's going to happen, you'll realize very quickly, is as you build your email list, some people are going to unsubscribe. In fact, every time you send an email out, once you get to a certain point at least, you'll probably notice several people unsubscribing every time you send an email out. And that's a good thing. I want you to be very clear about that. That's part of the process. You're getting people to join your email list early on. And the fact of the matter is, not everybody that signs up to that email list is going to become a fan and going to be a super fan of yours. So when you write your emails, write as if you're talking to this person. Write as though you're talking to your super fans, because some of these people are going to fall off. They're going to unsubscribe. But the ones that really connect with the way you communicate and your music and everything that you stand for and then everything you're about, the people that really connect are the ones that are going to stick with you and that are going to ultimately become your super fans. All right, so I'm going to give you some more tips for writing emails in just a minute, but first I want to address something that's really, really important. It's something that screws a lot of people up when they're trying to get started with email marketing, and it causes them to fail very quickly. There's a very important concept that you need to understand, and this is the real value of email in the first place, of building that email list. Email marketing is permission marketing. All right, so I'll say that again. Say it with me. Email marketing is permission marketing. The value in building your email list, the value in getting an email address from a potential fan, somebody that likes what you're doing, is not the email address itself, okay? Building an email list is not about getting as many emails as possible. That's great and everything if you do it the right way, but the value is not that you have somebody's contact information. The value is that they have given you permission to use that contact information. The value is that somebody has said, hey, I am interested in your music and I'd like to hear more. Here's my email address. You now have permission to share more music and share what you're doing with me. And that's the value. So don't do anything sketchy. Like some people try to build their email list, or they'll buy email lists, or they'll use software to scrape the internet and get email addresses or some crap like that. Don't do that stuff. Don't spam people. There's no value in spamming people on the internet. The value in email marketing is getting permission from somebody that is interested in your music, getting their permission to share more of your music with them. And that's how you're going to build that fan base and get those fans and super fans, all right? So just something to keep in mind, email marketing is permission marketing. So you're only sending emails out to people that have requested to receive those from you, that have given you permission to email them. All right, so a few quick tips on writing emails. First and foremost, don't overthink it too much. If you have the opportunity, sign up to some email lists from some of your favorite artists. Go to their website, see if they have a newsletter or something. Sign up and just see what kind of communications they send out. Some do it better than others, but it'll at least give you some ideas of what those communications can look like. Really, at the end of the day, you want to be sharing stuff related to your music. Let fans know about upcoming shows. Let them know about upcoming new music releases. Share some behind the scenes stuff with them. Think about things that you would like to get as a fan of another artist. But don't overthink it too much, honestly, because that's the worst thing that people do, is they'll overthink, what needs to go in the email, and then they never end up sending any emails out, and then, this is all a waste. There's no point in building an email list if you're not actually using it, right? If you're not actually communicating with those fans. So try not to overthink it too much, and remember, write your emails for these people, for the super fans. Other people don't vibe with it. If they don't resonate with your tone, your personality, it's okay. You don't need them. They're not going to be your super fans, right? So focus on the super fans. Focus on writing as though every email that you're sending out is going to these people. These are the ones that you really care about. Now, as far as the tone of the email goes, that's completely up to you. I recommend writing as though you're writing to one person. If you look at the emails that I send you, you'll see that it says, "Dear," your name typically, "Dear so-and-so," and I write it as though I'm talking to one person. That's what you should do with your emails. And you'll notice that I don't send out a newsletter, at least most of the time. The emails that I send aren't like in a newsletter format. They're written as though I'm writing a letter to a friend or a letter to somebody that I know. Okay, I personally find that those emails tend to work the best. They get the best response. It makes the communication feel a little bit more natural and a little bit more personal, okay? Like when you get one of those emails that's like, headline news bulletin sort of thing that you get from like, Amazon or eBay or something like that, it doesn't feel very personal at all. It feels more promotional. And you know what? Your super fans, if they're looking forward to hearing about new tour dates and they're looking forward to, hearing about album releases, it doesn't matter if it's written in a personal format for them, because they're just excited to get the news. They're excited to get the announcement that you have a new album coming out or a new single being released or whatever it is. So again, don't overthink it too much, but I generally recommend trying to write the emails personal, as though you're writing to one person, to somebody that you know. It does tend to have a little bit more personal feel, and it helps to build that connection with the people that are just getting to know you and becoming fans of yours. Another thing to think about is, do you have a persona? Like I really recommend that you make it feel natural, make it feel like it's coming from you, rather than this newsletter that's put together by the marketing company that you hired or your record label or whatever it is. But if you have like a stage persona, if the person that you are on stage when you're performing, if that's a character that's maybe a little bit different from you in real life, I would highly recommend, I generally recommend, try to take that character that you are on stage and be that character in your emails and in your social media and everything that you do, because these people are fans of your music. They're fans of that persona. It makes sense to communicate to them in that way in your email. So that's what I definitely recommend, that if you have a stage persona, if you're this character on stage, try to come across that way in your emails as well. I think your fans will really connect with that, especially these people that we're trying to cater to. All right, this video is running a little bit longer than I expected, so I'll just kind of blast through these next few. One question I get a lot is, how often should I email? You just keep in mind, if you build your email list and you don't email these people that don't really know you yet, they sign up to your email list because they're interested, you don't email them for 6 months, they're going to have forgotten who you are. They're going to report you as spam probably when you email them. So you kind of want to be somewhat frequent. I recommend, if at all possible, at least once a week, no less than once or twice a month, really. That way you can kind of stay on people's radar. And that's a big, one of the big things about email, one of the big benefits is not even if they're not opening the emails, as long as your name and your artist name is showing up in their inbox, it kind of like keeps you fresh on their mind. So, I would recommend at least once or twice a month, really ideally once a week. minimum if you can. Honestly, the more the better, but just make sure that you have something to say. So you can email every day if you wanted to, as long as you have something to actually say to your fans and they're opening your emails. You don't just email for the sake of, showing up in their inbox. You kind of want to have something to say, whether that's an announcement or a link to a blog post, a link to social media or whatever. So don't overthink the frequency too much. Just don't go too long without emailing your fans. As far as the length of the email itself, again, don't overthink this too much. Say what you need to say, but be as concise as possible. You don't need to write like 10 pages to let somebody know that there's a new single coming out. Unless you have a really, really engaging, interesting story around it, then sure, but maybe that would be better for like a blog post or something. So again, just don't overthink it. Say what you gotta say, try and do it as concisely as possible. People will get bored if they have to read like a book every time you send them an email. Make sure that you're not always coming across like you're selling or promoting something every time you send an email out. Don't be too salesy, don't be overly promotional. Make sure you're offering value to your fans. Give away some freebies whenever possible. Don't try to sell something in every email that you send out. But again, don't overthink it too much. Just make sure that you're being consistent, that you're getting those emails out. You're not going too long between emails. The important thing is that you're showing up in their inboxes and you're staying on their radar. Okay, so hopefully this video has helped shed some light on what it is that we're really trying to do here. Email marketing is a very valuable tool for sending people along this path of knowing you to becoming fans and then becoming ultimately super fans. And getting more of these super fans or true fans is really what's going to drive your success as an artist. Now, we talked about why that is with the 1,000 true fan principle. Then I explained, this path of getting people to know you, then become fans and super fans, the KFS factor. I also covered the concept of permission marketing. Remember, email marketing is permission marketing. The value in your email list is that these people have expressed interest in what you're doing and they've given you permission to keep that communication going. Then I just gave you some quick tips at the end to help you write engaging emails. Now in the next video, we'll start to get into that list building process. So hopefully you found all this helpful so far. If you have, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up and let me know in the comment section. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button and tick the little bell icon to be notified as soon as the next video is released here on the channel. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.